And I think
Right.
that's the beauty of this is like that. It can be
Exactly.
different than this. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
I can enjoy work, make a really good income, and then the final part, the legacy part, right? It's what I'm doing, it's what you're doing. So when we leave, we've had an effect on the world. When
Yeah.
we leave, people can continue to learn from us. When
Yeah.
we leave, there is life.
Yeah.
There is life in our business, in our job. There is life in what we have created. So that's why lifestyle legacy.
Yeah, I love it so much, and I think this is the transformation that we're making for businesses of the future,
I
because and this
agree.
is where women are really leading this, calling to let's do this differently, because we
Mm,
can't keep doing it for the sake of our own health, for the sake of our own well-being.
yeah.
We can't keep doing it the way it's been done. It's like let's burn this down and create
Yeah.
new. Today's episode is with one of those women I'm honored to call a client, Viveka von Rosen. Viveka von Rosen is a celebrated LinkedIn expert, a best-selling author, and transformational speaker, and she's dedicated to empowering successful business women aged 50 plus worldwide. With over 18 years of experience in LinkedIn marketing, she is a recognized authority in the field. As an accomplished author and international speaker, Viv captivates audiences with her keynotes addressing transition and transformation, catalyzing women to find their voices and create their own transformative ventures. Outside her professional pursuits, Viv embraces adventure, whether soaring the skies on hang gliders, exploring the ocean's depths through scuba diving, or hiking amidst the picturesque Colorado foothills and Costa Rican landscapes. Viv's core mission is to empower her clients to bring their legacy dreams to life. Her upcoming podcast, Beyond the Dreamboard, and newest book, 101 Ways to Rock Your Pivot from Executive to Entrepreneur, are both poised to provide yet another avenue for inspiring and guiding individuals on their transformative journeys. Her message to the world is women's words change the world. You can see why we're so aligned. She intends to do just that through her own lifestyle legacy business. I am thrilled to introduce you to this powerhouse woman. Let's meet Viveka von Rosen. Well, welcome back to Extraordinary Women Radio, Viveka. I am so thrilled to have you back.
I am so thrilled to be here for so many different reasons.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. When you were on before, it was in the first year of me doing Extraordinary Women Radio.
Are you
And
serious? I didn't
yeah,
realize
I just
that.
went back and looked.
Wow.
So it was episode number 60. So maybe just a little smidge into year two, but it was really early on. And you were the renowned LinkedIn expert and have all those awards in the world of digital media. And, just really, I mean, your career has been really impressive. And you've been on a big journey since then. And you're launching something new. So just tell us a bit about this journey that you've been on to bring us up to date.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so grateful for where I've been and where I'm going. So to your point, I was the LinkedIn expert, mainly because I had all the socials at LinkedIn
Yeah.
expert. So,
Yeah.
I
You
kind
were
of had,
smart and got that how many years ago?
I remember it was probably 2008 or 2009. There was actually
So
an app
really yeah.
really early on that you could put in the name you wanted, and it went through all of the socials, of which there were, let me think about this, there's probably 42. I'm making
Oh,
that, I'm
wow.
just totally, but only 42. I mean, only 42. That includes all social platforms, right? So
Okay.
so I got my name on almost all of them. So that's why I have LinkedIn. Actually, LinkedIn wasn't even one of them, because LinkedIn didn't do that until later. But yeah, so I got, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, like so many of the social platforms, and a bunch that aren't even around anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
A
that was very
smart
fortunate.
marketing move, though. A really, really smart marketing move for you.
Sure, I did it completely intentionally. I was not just futzing around on my computer that day. Full intentionality
Well,
there.
it worked. It
It
worked.
worked. It worked. It
Yeah.
did. And then, the thing is, when you claim expertise in something, you kind of have to keep proving it's true. And
Yeah.
so that's what I've been doing for the past, I think it's 18 years. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is crazy. And you're in this space now of launching something new,
Yeah.
which and this is actually, this is one of the first public pieces that are going out of the work that you're doing and what you're launching into. So I'm actually super excited to be having this conversation with you here.
Me too. Yeah, no, super excited. Yeah, this is the first, I mean, other than just like literally launching my website on the DL.
Yeah.
We can get into that later. But yeah, I haven't put it on LinkedIn yet. Like this is basically the public launch of my pivot and where I'm going in the future. So yeah, it's super, super exciting. And
Yeah.
after,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
said, after almost 18 years of being an entrepreneur, and then we founded my company Vengresso 6 years ago, going on 7 years ago, which was great because it allowed me to play in that B2B space, that corporate B2B space, which
And the
was
software.
necessary for me, right? And then
Yeah.
software, yeah. And then we
Yeah.
pivoted Vengresso into software. And so, moving away from my physical interactions on Vengresso and moving into this new thing, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's been a bit, when you take these leaps, right? I mean, just the leap, how is that feeling right now? The leap of launching.
I mean, it's super exciting.
Yeah.
Someone told me early on that, I've never had, what do you call it? Stage fright. See, I couldn't even think of the word. I've never had stage fright. Like I love
Yeah.
getting on
Yeah.
stage, and I've always identified those butterflies as excitement. And the same thing with, I'm a hang glider pilot. So like literally jumping off a mountain, same thing. It's excitement. But there are things like making cold calls where I just get this in the pit of my stomach. And I remember someone saying, it's the exact same physiology. It's just your
Yeah.
head telling you fear over excitement. And so part of me thinks it's fear, but really it's just 100% excitement to
Yeah.
be starting
Yeah.
this new venture.
There's a word in Tara Brock, or not Tara Brock, Tara Moore's book, Playing Big.
Yes.
And I'm trying to think of the word, but I love that word. It's I'm not going to think of it, but it's a word that it describes that excitement, right?
Yeah.
And
And I
it is,
also know what you're talking about. And I also can't think of what the word.
yeah. What is that
Welcome to
word?
being 50 plus, folks.
Yeah. Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly. Exactly. So what sparked this big transformation for you? Tell us a bit of this story.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, honestly, you were part of it. So I had that feeling for probably 2 or 3 years. Well, in all truth, I was ready to let go of Vengresso in 2016. Not Vengresso, I'm sorry. I was ready to let go of LinkedIn to Business, my coaching and training business, LinkedIn coaching and training business in 2016, and go do something else. And I always joked
Yeah.
like, I'm going to go become a life coach. And then I had the opportunity to co-create Vengresso with some really awesome people, which I did. And then like I said, about 2 or 3 years ago, I kind of got to feeling, do I want to be doing this the rest of my life? And my co-founder, I think, was feeling the same way. We didn't want to be a training company. So then we're like, okay, we'll pivot into software. Cool. We'll be a software company, which we did. And I mean, I love our software.
Yeah, I do too. I love that
It's
software.
so fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It's
AI.
great.
It
Yeah.
was born as an auto text expander, but now it's got Fly Engage. It's called Fly Message. So now it's got Fly Engage, which will allow you to engage on posts on LinkedIn, which I love. And then it's got Fly Write or Fly Post, which will allow you to write posts on LinkedIn and probably other places soon. But yeah, and so we did that, and for a year that was enough newness, that was enough pivot to keep me satisfied. But I really had a coming home about this time last year. You did your 90-minute webinar, and it just hit home to me that I wasn't living my purpose, that I wasn't living my calling, that I hadn't written a book in 2 years. I hadn't been on stage except for, I think I'd been on like 2 or 3 stages
And
all
you love
year.
the stage. It's
I
such an
love this.
intricate
Can you
part of who you are.
I do. I mean, I won an award. I was the youngest person to win a speaking award when I was 7 years old. We're in my
Oh my
hometown of
God,
Windsor.
that's amazing.
I know, right? Like no one else that young. It had always
No,
been middle school
exactly.
kids. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I knew, it's like
You knew you
But
had something
also the
going there.
last time I spoke on stage, and I thought I did I thought I did a really bad job because, um, it was a great, I mean, it was a merge, and it was such a, I love that, I love that, conference, um, that Now Marketing puts on, but I got up there and I'm talking about LinkedIn and branding and, things I'm known for and things I used to be like so into and things I've written a bunch of books about. And I was like, so faking it. And I'm like, oh my God, I hope everyone out there doesn't realize I'm faking it. And I got off the stage and I felt bad. I felt like I'd blown it. And, everyone's like, oh, that was great. I learned so much. And I'm like, really?
You're like, I
And
don't
that
feel it anymore.
no, and that to me, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely, I need to go and move into what I was meant to do.
What you
I got to
knew
use
even
my
like back,
gifts and
yeah,
fulfill
back
my
in
calling.
2016, you even knew this, right?
Yeah, yeah. And of course I did, I mean, most people wouldn't think what we did was easy, and it wasn't, but it was an easier route than to bring it. Cami knows no short answers with me, to bring it 360 to making that leap into
Yeah.
something truly completely different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, congratulations for like
Thank you.
following the seeds. You have the seeds planted, you've got the
Yeah.
ideas. And I love that, the Soul Plus Strategy planning webinar that I did last year
Yeah.
also was a part of that because it's like just everybody tuning in. We've got another one coming. Got
Yeah.
another one that's coming up December 28th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do
Check our
it,
website
folks.
out. Yeah.
Take it, do it. I mean, can be absolutely transformative for you,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So you get this, you find this clarity, but the
Yeah.
clarity doesn't come just like overnight.
No, no.
No. Yeah.
It
So
took
tell us.
me,
This is really normal.
I'm in Cammie's platinum group, and she knows. Like, I was getting so frustrated because indeed clarity did not come. I knew what I wanted to do. I had a rough idea of who my audience was going to be, but I don't think I'd separated. I know I hadn't separated myself enough from what I was doing to
Yeah.
truly birth what needed to be. So, like, for the first, 4 to 6 months, I'm like, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I don't know what I want to do. I just know I want to speak and write books and get paid for it,
Yeah.
and kind of whiny. Um, and it was indeed in one of our 2-day retreats. I think it was Jill, but one of our mastermind cohorts, basically said something along the lines of like, why isn't your ICP, why aren't your, isn't your buyer persona yourself, right? So
Yeah.
very successful entrepreneur or corporate, because I've been in both situations, women who have kind of hit the ceiling of where they want to be in that life. They 100% feel like there's got to be something more to life than this. But also what I'm now calling my soul's cry, right, was like, oh my God, I can't do another business. Like, I can't. Maybe after a year of eating bonbons and traveling the world, I can do another business, but I cannot do another business right now. So all that was
Right.
really holding me back. Plus, to your point, LinkedIn expert, worldwide fame. Okay, not really. But I had
Yeah. So you can take
a
that.
little.
Yeah.
But even my industry, which I kind of created along with, a lot of the other social media OGs. Like, we started in 2005, 2006, when
Yeah.
a lot of my, not, I won't say competitors, when a lot of the people doing what I do now were like freaking born, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
um, so I aged out. Like, I was not invited back to the conference that I've spoken at for the past 12 years because I was too old. I mean, I really
Oh my
feel,
gosh.
I
Wow.
know. I really feel, and maybe that's not true. I mean, maybe that's not true, but if I look at the demographic, it kind of is. So, it was good, but I needed all of that. I needed the
Yeah.
good stuff and the bad stuff
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
push me into this pivot. And,
Yeah.
you know,
And I think that's always the beauty of our work. It's our journeys that we get to this point is like all the things that you did are really pertinent to what you're going to be able to
yeah,
do in the future with women. And so
Yes,
it's all, it all fits together, and there's no
it does.
accidents. I believe that it's all, very aligned. So this
It
is
is.
how Beyond the Dream Board was born then. And that's the name of
Yes.
your, yes. So tell us what that is.
Yeah, and again, it was a Cami event, right? So I should give you a percentage of my earnings. We were at Soul Speaks, and part of that process is tell your stories. And I'm like, I don't have any stories. Which I think a lot of women think they don't have
Oh
stories,
yeah,
even though I've
that's
been on
common.
stage
We
for
we have all kinds of stories, but
yeah,
yes.
yeah, we have all
Yeah.
kinds of stories. So finally I found my stories, and then I was with again two cohorts, and it just came through like the other side of, and it went through different like iterations. So it was other side of the vision board, and then it was beyond the vision board, and then I was kind of like, but I like vision. And then so it was dream board. So finally we got to beyond the dream board, and that was
Mhm.
like it. I was like, oh my God, that's it.
Yeah.
Because, and what that means, well, first of all, I love it because people go, what does that mean beyond the dream board, and why isn't it beyond the vision board? And that's an awesome opportunity for me to explain, you
Yes.
know, as and I love dream boards. I love vision boards. I love Pinterest. I love the idea of manifesting and putting images and symbols of what you want to manifest on a board, whether it's
Yeah.
digital or virtual or physical.
Yeah.
Um, and I had I literally found one of my dream boards in the garage when I was doing a clean out. It had my car. It had essentially what we ended up being my houses. It had the husband. Like I did this one maybe in 2008. It had the
Oh, this is
before I
awesome.
met my husband. It had the husband. It had the rings. It had it had the things. It had the stuff. It had a picture of me on stage. It had this, that, and the other. And I looked at it. I'm like, oh, I've got all the things. I'm not happy. And so, what I do with my women and what I've had to do with myself, because that was my first lesson, is you get to walk yourself through
Oh,
this,
totally.
right? Like
That's
you,
we always have to go through the journey first, right?
you do. And then everything becomes a blessing.
Yeah.
The icky relationship, the yucky job, the house that you don't love, the car that broke down, right? It all becomes a lesson and part of the journey, and therefore a blessing. And it's from that place, I think, of gratitude that we really get the juice we need to move forward. I mean, we
Yeah.
can fight it and scream, and the universe is going to pull us towards our calling, but it's a way easier if you just step through that portal. And
Yeah.
literally one of the things I do with my women is a meditation, a guided meditation that takes them through the portal of their dream board and into what's possible for them. And
Ooh,
yeah. Ooh,
powerful.
I just got
So powerful.
get
So
the shivers
powerful.
on that. I
And
love
this
it.
is, yeah, and this is where the whole alchemy process
Yes.
came into place. So
Yes.
I loved from the very get-go when this process started to be unfold for you.
Yeah.
So tell us what the alchemy process is.
Yeah, I kept seeing the word alchemy everywhere, and people started talking about alchemy, and I
Signpost.
love all the magical woo-woo stuff, right? And literally one of the bars by where we were doing our retreat was named Alchemy. I mean, it's just like, okay, I get it. And so then I started looking into alchemy, and there's several different ways of doing alchemy, right? So
Uh-huh.
there's the mythical, there's a 7 step, there's a 12 step, but I found a 4 step that just made sense to me. So it's Negredo, Albedo, Citronus, Rubedo.
Mm.
And what that means is the Negredo part is the burning away. The Albedo part is okay, there's a bunch of ash here. Let's get through this ash and find out where are those gifts and where are those what's your true calling, like that you might have
Yeah.
forgotten because you haven't even thought about it in 45 years.
Yeah.
And then like, okay, how do I take these gems, these gifts, this magic, and alchemically um create a new business from it, and then how do I launch that business?
Yeah.
And so those are the 4 stages, but the more not even thinking about it, the more I felt into it,
Yeah.
and the more clear I became on the women that I was gonna be serving, women who are 50, 60, 70 plus or 80 plus, hey, come on down, who are in corporate positions or own very successful businesses and know there's more to life than this, right? So I got very,
Yeah.
very clear, those are my folks. I could
Yeah.
work with anyone,
Yeah.
but I got super clear, like, those are my ladies. And
Yeah.
so, the thing is, and what I mentioned earlier, that cry, that soul's cry, like, I just can't do another business. You feel like you can't because you got all this stuff on you.
The
It's
weight
all
of it
the
all.
weight of your
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
successes and your failures
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and your strivings and and like my women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, they grew up working in the 70s, 80s, and 90s,
Working hard,
working
different
hard to get where they
environments.
were.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, like, how do you let that go? But if you want to move forward with ease and grace and energy and vitality, you've got to. Not all of it.
Yeah.
You don't have to burn bridges. I keep hearing
Yeah.
this song. I forget the name of it. Like, burn it down. Oh, burn it down. Like, no, burning it down is when you self sabotage because you've
Yeah.
ignored all the signs and signals. Like, we're talking about
Yeah.
burning away what doesn't serve you.
What's stuck
Yeah.
onto our bodies, even our
Yeah. Yeah.
emotions and what's there. It's like we can feel all of that weight of all of that.
Yeah. Bleh.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So this is so powerful. I think it's so when we're going through this process
Yeah.
of letting go of what's been
Yeah.
around us and really starting to just start to feel into something new.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the journey you've been on too.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it was the first when I didn't even know what I wanted to do when I grew up. I'm so I'm so excited. I'm getting all sweaty and stuff. Um the very first thing we did, other than saying hello and introducing ourselves, is you took us through a guided meditation 3 years from now. And it was so not like we're expected to be. And I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." And I felt it and I wrote it down and I talked about it. And then I kind of put it on the back shelf because it was in Europe. It was a huge, like 10, 15, 20,000 people. And I'm like, how am I going to get there in 3 years? And so I just put it aside. I'm like, I don't want to do that. That sounds yucky. I don't want to have to like manage all that mess. I'm not an event planner or yeah. Bleh. So, I resisted, and then it just kept coming back to me, including in the most recent Extraordinary Women Ignite conference that you held. And I'm like, okay, fine. And when I said okay, fine, I got the clear distinction. Oh, this isn't about me, right? If my The other thing I came to finally after a year was my message to the world. Message is that what message to the world say? I can't even
Yeah, your
remember.
one message to the world.
My one
Uh-huh.
message to the world, which is it's very simple. It's not like mind blowing. It's women's words change the world. But in order for my women's words to change the world, they need platforms. And a lot of them are going to be authors. Awesome. A lot of them are going to be speakers. Awesome. It's not that I have to do that. I can bring people on, who, not how. But
Yeah.
I also am going to be able to create that stage. So it's not about me being on stage. It's about these
Yeah.
women being on stage, again, with the truth bumps. And that gave me the energy. Like when I resisted it, I started to feel, ugh. But when
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's not about me, I get it now. Like all this energy came through, and I'm like, I can't wait. And I've already met some of the women who I absolutely 100% know are going to be on that stage.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so cool
Yeah.
because it's like it's the these moments of clarity coming
Yeah.
through, getting going inside and listening, and then the breakthrough that happens, and then the action that comes
Yeah.
along behind it. And
Yeah.
it's like it all flows together, but it's these moments of introspection really open up ideas. And if we can resist them, or we can
Yeah.
lean into them a little bit longer and say, what does this really mean? And
Yes.
so I love this. I totally love it. Um, so what can a woman do who is feeling stuck in her her corporate job in that space is, like, it's just like, okay, I've been really successful. I've been there, I've done it, but it's like, there's got to be something more. What can someone do?
Yeah, so you have to make the decision. Oh my gosh. And again, I love synchronicity. Um, I heard this today. I was going to say I was reading, but who are we kidding? I was listening to Who Not How, but with Dan Sullivan and Dr. I forget his name. And it's really, really good book. And they said, the definition of hell is you come to the end of your life and who you were meant to be meets who you are.
Oh,
Oh, so
ouch. Yeah.
I know, I was like, "Ugh." So I had not articulated that. I hadn't thought about it that way, but that is going to be one of the first questions, from now on. I'm literally putting in that in my intake, like journal
Yeah.
about this, because I'm I know for me certainly, and for the women I am working with, who they are now is not who they want to be, and they
Exactly.
absolutely know that there's more to life than this, and
Yeah.
that they were put on this earth for bigger meaning. And if
And I'm
they
just going to pause you there, because I
yeah,
think this is a huge calling for women right now that are feeling that kind of
yeah,
that heavy tension. That's the calling to something more. And
yeah,
it's like where you and I are so aligned in our
yeah,
work that we get to do is because we don't want people to stay there. That work needs to be their work needs to be out in the world,
it does.
right?
It does. It's not about us. Like, we're
Yeah.
just the other thing. I had a great call with one of my ex-partners at Vingresso the other day, and he's doing something very similar to what I'm doing and what you're doing and what almost everyone in the conference was doing. And it's so perfect because this message needs to get out, and it
Yeah.
is choosing the people it wants to get out through so that it can reach the audiences it needs to get out to. And your audience is different from my audience, is different
Yeah.
from Bernie's audience, is different from Jill's audience, is different from Julia's audience.
But they're
And there's no
all
competition.
yeah, yeah. But they're
It's like
all
so exciting.
right. And they're all going to make a difference on our world. And
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it.
And that's it, because, things are not great right now. And if we can affect change in a massive way, one person can't do it, but one person can be a voice that amplifies the voices of others.
Yeah. So back to that question that I kind of
Oh
interrupted you
yeah.
on your answer on was the if somebody's stuck and
Yeah.
you're giving them that vision of what if
Yeah.
your desire, I don't remember exactly the exact words you said, the future self and
The
your
future
end of
self,
life.
yeah, the future self talking to the ground. So yeah, I mean, I would literally like stop, breathe through it, because it's going to probably bring up some anxiety and angst. But think about it, and allow, like, I would, if you're working with me, I'm going to walk you through a visualization, but you
Yeah.
can do this on your own. I'll also
Yeah.
be writing a blog post about it very shortly. But allow yourself to sit in those feelings. Like, first of all, visualizing, who are you meant to be? And you don't have to, if you can visualize it to the point of, what do I look like? Where am I? What does it feel, look, smell, taste like around me? Who's around me? What am I doing? Like, if you can get to that point, awesome. If not, get to that point of what the soul is, at the end of your journey. And
Mhm.
then think about where you are now. It's going to feel kind of heavy and gross. And then just ask yourself, or ask your higher self, like, what do I need to let go of in order to move forward? Because we are going to keep things. I'm not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, we are
Yeah.
going to keep so much.
It's
I'm going to
important.
keep,
It's important, right? It's
yeah, yeah.
part
It's
of
not
our
like we
journey.
go like, oh, we're not going to do a LinkedIn. We're going to do TikTok now because, yeah, no. I mean, we can, but
Yeah,
obviously, I'm not going to throw away 20-ish years
exactly.
of knowledge, but I'm applying it in a different way.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to
Yeah.
do corporate B2B training, go to Vingresso. But yeah, so then journaling about that, that's going to give you a little clarity
Mhm.
about simply the fact that you need to move on.
Yeah.
We go through a Negredo process. It's not just one thing. It's a series of things. But to that point, what are you holding on to because you did the work? Like for
Right.
me, it's at LinkedIn Expert. It's going to be one of my practices that I'm going to do is literally change at LinkedIn Expert on my socials back to my name, Viveka Von Rose. I'm literally going to be claiming myself. Now,
Yeah. Mm.
that's symbolic, but also
It is symbolic.
but you're taking action. And so, if you are listening to this and you're like, okay, but I don't have that handle. I'm not on social media. You do have something, if not a bunch of somethings that symbolize your success to this date.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to feel into whether that is something you want to bring with you or
Mhm.
not and leave
Yeah.
behind. And
Yeah.
and again, I'm not saying it took me a year to make the leap. And let's be honest, it took me really since 2016 because that's when I probably
Yeah.
should have made the leap.
Yeah.
But there's no shoulds, and I had to have my
No,
experience that I had,
exactly.
which I'm grateful for. And you might not make that leap right away, but
Yeah.
it's good to have it's good to do that survey and just know what can be let go of. And it can be people, it can be things, it can be jobs, it can be awards, it could be accolades, it could be beliefs. I mean, these things that hold us down come in many, many different forms of energy. But
Yeah.
eventually you can start letting those things go. Like, pick the top. I'm making this up. I'm making this up as we go along, right? So look at 5 of those things that you write down that you can let go of right now, and then let go of them,
Yeah.
whatever physical, spiritual, whatever they are. Let go of those 5 things and just see how much lighter you feel,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah. Totally.
then you can keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing that. But
Yeah.
it's not easy. Well, it's simple, but it's not easy for sure.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of
Mm.
stepping into spaces
Yeah.
that you haven't stepped into,
Yeah.
and having somebody like you walking through that journey is always so helpful.
Thank you. And I love the one-on-one. I know all the business coaches are like, you gotta multiple streams and you gotta, no time for money, get away from that model. I'm like, well, first of all, I'm gonna be charging enough that I'm gonna be just fine on my time for money.
Mm.
But I love that one working with women one-on-one. Now I will also
Yeah.
have a mastermind because I learned so much from the women that I was in a mastermind with. I wouldn't
Right.
want my women not to have that experience.
Yeah.
But I personally, for me, because I don't feel like I'm not, when I scale it, it's going to scale in a different way and for a different
Yeah.
reason. So I don't need to
Yeah.
scale it by having, whatever's. So for me, that one-on-one interaction, I just love it. I love
Cool.
it.
Excellent.
And it's
Excellent. I
not
love
for
it.
everyone and it's not
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
scalable, but it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I know that you talk about lifestyle legacy.
Yeah.
What does that mean, and why is that important to you?
Yeah, and I think another reason that women feel so exhausted by the fact that they have to create another business or work their way through another business is because it was so hard the first time.
Yeah.
Like, because of the growing up in the 70s, 80s and 90s, and because or even the 60s, for my awesome older women. Um I lost my track. What was the
Legacy.
question?
Yeah. So, the legacy,
The
lifestyle
legacy,
legacy.
lifestyle legacy, right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and a lot of what's like, "Oh, I couldn't that soul's cry, like, I couldn't possibly do it." It's the weighted down, but it's also, I couldn't possibly put that time and effort into a new business that's gonna take 60 hours of my life. Like, I deserve a break. Or not
Yeah.
60 hours of my life, 60 hours a week.
A week. Yeah.
A week, yeah. In my life, okay, I'll do that, that's fine. But per week, yeah, that's insane. Like,
Yeah.
no one no one should, if you are working that hard,
Yeah.
then you
You're
need
not.
to
Yeah.
hire some who's
Yeah.
because you're working way too hard. You need to
Yeah.
delegate, you need to let
Yeah.
go. God, that just,
Totally
oh,
agree with that one. It's like,
ugh,
and I think this is another place where you and I are just so aligned. It's like we want
yeah.
to build businesses that are about lifestyle, not
Yes.
about, not as we want our businesses to work for us, not our,
Yeah.
we don't want to work for our businesses.
For businesses, exactly.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
100% can be done. Like, it's
Yeah. Totally.
I'm not gonna share numbers, but let's just say when we worked through another one of your processes of, how much do you have to charge per hour? How much, I was like, oh, I could like triple my income and do 80% less work
Yeah.
on this new
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't
It's
I?
that's the smart side of looking at the right business model, the right way to, to look at it through that lens because,
Yeah, and maybe I grow my business more slowly because I'm bootstrapping, but it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah.
as soon as I can afford the house, or the who's, I bring on the who's. I
Yeah.
delegate, but
Yeah.
it was just like, oh, okay. So lifestyle legacy is just that. It's a lifestyle business. I don't want you spending more than 30 hours. I don't care if you love what you're doing. Don't spend more than 30 hours a week at it. Like,
Yeah.
my approach is
Yeah.
very, very holistic. I want
Yeah.
you eating right, exercising,
Yeah.
relaxing, meditating. I don't want you working for exterior
And people
success.
coming
And
out
then
of
the
the corporate
legacy
world, they're
part. Oh,
not
sorry.
even going to know people coming out of the corporate world are not even going to realize that that's a possibility. And I think
Right.
that's the beauty of this is like that. It can be
Exactly.
different than this. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
I can enjoy work, make a really good income, and then the final part, the legacy part, right? It's what I'm doing, it's what you're doing. So when we leave, we've had an effect on the world. When
Yeah.
we leave, people can continue to learn from us. When
Yeah.
we leave, there is life.
Yeah.
There is life in our business, in our job. There is life in what we have created. So that's why lifestyle legacy.
Yeah, I love it so much. And I think this is the transformation that we're making for businesses of the future.
I
Because, and this
agree.
is where women are really leading this calling to let's do this differently because we
Mm,
can't keep doing it for the sake of our own health, for the sake of our own well-being.
yeah.
We can't keep doing it the way it's been done. It's like, let's, burn this down and create
Yeah.
new. Right.
And we can't
Yeah.
model that. Like, we
Yeah.
have to stop modeling the woman who does everything. We have to stop
Yeah.
modeling, like, I raised the children, I had a 9 to 5 or nine or 8 to 6, let's be honest. I
Yeah.
cooked the meals, I cleaned the house, I did the this, I did the that, I planned the vacations, I did the shopping. I took my kids to the
Yep.
graduation ceremonies, I drove them to college. Like, we're
Yep.
modeling
Been
working
there.
way too
There
hard.
was a place where I did that in my life, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
that's that transformation that we're making. So I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, um, so where can people learn more about you?
Yes, so don't Google my name yet because I don't think I have enough Google juice around this new this new effort. But if you go to beyondthedreamboard.com, um, that's, it's launched.
I went and
Uh,
looked. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I love
The
it so
website is
much.
gorgeous, and
I,
I was just reading through it. It's so good. So
it's
bravo
so
to you.
good. And can
Yeah.
I say, oh, and you can find me on LinkedIn too. So that big switcheroo is coming December 1st. But can I just say the other thing is it doesn't need to be hard. Like,
Yeah.
I have another coach that I like, and she's done some amazing transformative inner work with me. But she even has this feeling like, oh, a good website's going to take you 2 to 3 years. You can't write a book in a week. You can't, And here's like my website. I found the best. I mean, she's dynamic, Diane Whidden. She created that website with me. Yes, it took 3 months, but realistically, it took me using ChatGPT. Thank you very much. It took me maybe a day to write the whole site, and then maybe another day or two to make it mine. And then it took her like maybe a week. So I will
Wow.
say it was just over a month to create my website, not two
Wow.
years. So it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be hard. And then my
Yeah.
latest book I wrote, I have to go in and do some tweaks and stuff, and then it'll go to the printer. But that one I also wrote. Now, mind you, it's a very small book and it's very easy, but that one I wrote, in maybe a week. Like,
Wow.
so it doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You just have to be open to the flow. Some things will be challenging, some
Yeah.
things will be difficult, but not
Yeah.
everything has to be a challenge in order for it to be
Yeah.
good.
Like it. I like it. The final question I always close with are what are three pearls of wisdom you'd like to leave with us today?
Yeah, it's funny how the words have changed, but Delegation is so important.
Yeah.
I mean, it just to give you the time so you can take time for yourself. I don't
Hmm.
care if that's hiring a cook. I don't care if that's hiring daycare. I don't care if that's hiring other people in your business to do stuff for you. Like I said, I'm reading Who Not How, which just goes along with what I've always said, do what you do best and let other people do the rest.
Right.
So I think I know for me, anytime I've made that 10x leap in my business or in my life, it's because I let other people take
Yeah.
control of the reins for the horses I did not need to drive myself,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and that's hard to do, but sometimes other people can do stuff better than you can. Oh,
Yeah.
what a concept. That's so important, I think. Also important is your community. There is no way I could have done this, Cami, without you and with my sisterhood that you introduced me to, and then with my friends that I brought with me along
Yeah.
the way. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's no
Community
way.
is huge, isn't it?
Community is everything. Community
Yeah.
is everything. And then the final words of wisdom is like, don't be afraid to let go of something that no longer serves you. It's holding you, even if you think it's awesome, it's holding you back if it's not serving you. So
So
don't get
good.
divorced because I just said that, but or do, or
Yeah.
do.
Or
I'm
do
not
if
going
that has to
to.
be. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh my gosh, this has been so
Okay.
much fun. I'm so excited for you,
Thank
and
you.
you're going to be impacting so many amazing women, and there goes the big ripple effect, right? That makes me so
Yeah,
happy.
me
So,
too. And thank
yeah.
you. Thank you
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Oh, cool. Cool, cool. Well, I happy holidays to you, my friend, and
Yes,
so
you too.
great to have you here.
Thank you. It's a blessing, and I couldn't think of a better way to launch my new business. So thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you.